Hey guys, this is the man on the street. Today, I'm going to be talking about people and the protection of their insurance policy and the people who are endowed to those policies when claiming. For example, we know that insurance policies are there to protect loved ones in case something happens for the breadwinner. But in this case, like most people, they will honor that by protecting themselves from their own children as well by insurance policy. Now, back in the early 90s, right, we asked Doug Ford, pardon my French, Bob Ray, at that time was the Liberal, or the NDP position of the NDP as the Premier of Ontario. And during that time, people were arguing the same thing about insurance policy. Like, for example, like God willing, I am healthy nowadays, hitting by a car or anything that's at least 5,000 pounds, you'll always lose. You do the math, even the biggest guy who's 300 pounds will know that an automobile more than 5,000 pounds will cripple you. Nonetheless, what does that mean for people who are law-abiding, just walking? Well, be careful. But I could tell you one thing too, that if it were to pay out for a person who is on meds, like most people are, how are they able to drive when the medication specifically tells you? Now, me, myself, and I've never been charged with any DUI, and I always follow the rule when you are proceeded to blow for a breathalyzer or a blood test. It guarantees your right for a fair and equal processing when you're charged with DUI. Now, the mannerisms, I've heard every excuse that people take to not make sure they take that test. Now, how do I know? Because I was involved with some people who got into those kind of terrible accident. They put people in the hospital, elderly people, young children, whatnot. Even myself, but I never collected one penny to know what that person collected. Now, his name is omitted, but he knows the relevancy. Now, going forward, we're asking about the same thing about Bob Ray. Not too many people happy about that situation when he jumped ship to be in Liberal government in Trudeau's. So when we're talking about constricted plans with the NDP and the Liberal government, it's all constricted. You understand that? They're all self-involved to take advantage, including insurance policies. So, for example, some days like myself, I may be taking medication for anxiety attacks, and some of them are mood stabilizers that allow you to take adhedants if you drive, especially when you're dealing with Ambien. Ambien and alcohol do not mix. And we know that. That's why now in certain countries, including Canada, they're going to pass legislation if the court of opinion could prove that if you did a DUI that involved in homicide, that you can be put away for 25 years for vehicular homicide. And this is the relevancy. As I said before, maybe you get one chance, not 2 or 3 times. This is the way people feel safer, and this is the transportation of the roads of Ontario that made it safe for commute, that the OPP can do their job. Now or less, if every time you are pulled over, there is no reason why you should take that car and elude police. Unless you do get caught for speeding, and then we take care of that. It's called stunt driving. Now, back in the day, I must admit I had a heavy metal for my foot. And I had been pulled over, and I did get ticketed. But again, if it was OPP or Toronto Police, I would never use my deterrence to say if I was doing something derelict to oppose or impede a police officer or OPP investigation. You understand that? So when I take heed at police officers, they're held to a higher authority, and everyone knows that. Now, getting back to insurance policy. Now, there are things before the court, even my own kin, try to collect on some insurance policy to this very day. And it's so abhorrent that it makes my blood curl to know exactly what's going on in insurance policy and why everyone's premiums, from your car insurance to your house insurance, everything else that may be to protect your home and your livelihood. This is the man on the street.